Well, it's a new year, folks, and here's hoping that your guitar journey will perhaps bring new ventures and perhaps new opportunities. Of course, I do realise that life can be challenging depending on our circumstances, and for those interested, I've actually produced a lot of films about such topics. However, I just wanted to say a big thank you to all those who have helped this Guitar Journey channel to grow, and I've really appreciated all those who take the time to chip in with comments, those who chat with me privately, and those that I've got together over Zoom meetings, and even getting a visit from Alan from the USA, and I think we're planning to do that again, God willing. What I do love about musical instruments is this: regardless of how we play, playing an instrument can be such just a great way to simply unwind, to just close the door on all the noise that's round about us and that can crowd in on you. At least just for a while anyway. So looking back at the year, did I think I would have purchased the gear that I have, leading to the unboxing videos and reviews that I've done, and also that I'd be building my own guitar? Well, of course, the answer is no. My initial goal for 2024 was to get on with my music compositions, and then, as I've mentioned previously, circumstances changed, challenges arose, and I'm sure most of you will have some of your own experiences with that. Now, as I couldn't spend the uninterrupted time that's needed to work on recording, I found myself fine-tuning my gear inventory and in turn selling off equipment I never thought that I actually would. Now, at the beginning of January 2024, preparing to record, as if to help my songwriting along, I bought the TC Electronic Ditto Looper pedal, and I really found this very useful. It's a great little pedal, and it helped me to quickly work out different compositions and ideas. Now, it's not a unit that I actually keep on my pedal board. I only connect it up when I want to quickly work out some thoughts. Now, at the end of January, I decided that as I already owned 50s and 60s custom shop Stratocasters, I'd look at a custom shop Telecaster of the same period, and that's when I found the Sherwood Green Relict 61 Telecaster. And I have to say, it's a fabulous guitar for recording work, particularly rhythm work. Equipped with a twisted telly in the neck, blackguard pickup in the bridge, and it just cuts through a mix with fantastic tonal separation and depth of tone. Getting this at a greatly reduced price from the dealer, I think it was one of those kind of end of January sales, was also a real plus. Never be afraid to haggle with a shop. Sometimes there's pretty good markups on those guitars. It was while researching the custom shop Telecaster, I kept coming back face to face with that piece of gear that was rooted in the back of my mind, a genuine high-quality valve amplifier. Now, I've kept away from them because, really, of the volume levels needed to get that edge of breakup. It was only days later that I tried out the Bad Cat Black Cat, and I fell in love with the sound. You need to be in the room to really do justice to how this amplifier actually sounds. My Telecasters and Stratocasters, they just came alive. Bad Cat Black Cat would replace my Fender Twin Reverb Tone Master and Fender Blues Junior. Now I have to say I really did like that Tone Master, but there wasn't really a good reason to keep it any longer. Now, not long after I picked up the combination amplifier, I also picked up an extension cab for a really great price, and I used the combo in the control room while the cabinet is in the sound booth. And much more on these things later. Now, in mid-February, I made a most unusual purchase for me. Again, the price was good, but the guitar that I purchased for two reasons. I wanted a guitar with distortion pickups for certain lead runs and effects using the whammy bar that came with it. And that guitar, well, the beautiful looking Ibanez Sabre series, and it really is a lovely looking instrument, albeit a guitar manufacturer I avoided as I absolutely had no interest in this kind of guitar. Now, I'm not sure if I'm actually going to keep this. It's lovely to look at, but I do need to spend some more time with it. So as mentioned, I was looking to complete my little Telecaster collection, and I had been searching for an early Custom Shop 50s model, and they were not easy to come by at that particular time. However, I noted interest in a new one at a local store, and they offered me a decent price drop for a quick sale. But I decided to wait and see what else might come on the second-hand market. And then I got an email from the shop giving me further discount, and the guitar was sent up from a main store in England for me to try out, and on placing it in my lap, just strumming it even without going through an amplifier, I knew this was the one. You just know, don't you? So based on the 1952 model in a no-caster blonde relic finish and fitted with Blackguard pickups, I just love jamming along with blues backing tracks with this guitar. So as I say, it's just such a fun guitar to hold and play. I just love the beefy baseball, the baseball back-like neck, and such a difference to the slim neck of the 61 Tele. But I love these differences. It's just fun playing between guitars. Now, while it's easy enough to get edge or breakup tones from the Black Cat at decent volume levels, I wondered if I could get more punch by increasing the volume and reducing with an attenuator. And again, a good deal came up, and so I would soon be reviewing the Tone King Iron Man 2 attenuator. This thing is heavy, and it's clearly designed to soak up a lot of heat, and thereby it's a protective unit for use with expensive valve amplifiers. There was no way I was going to put some of the cheaper offerings into the Black Cat. Did it make a difference? Well, yes, it does. But to be honest, due to the way the Black Cat is put together, I no longer use it with that amplifier. I also have a sound booth, which I mentioned earlier, and I'll be showing you more about that in other videos. However, now that I had the attenuator, well, I honestly thought that the Bad Cat amplifier setup was my be-all and end-all, but in the back of my mind somewhere, I just could not shake my Marshall roots, and it was through a friend that I found myself revisiting that iconic manufacturer. Now, a friend of mine dropped off a little Marshall amplifier he thought might make an interesting review, this little MG30 DFX. Now, I've not done that yet, but I was surprised at how good it sounded, particularly when this friend had dropped off a Marshall VS AVT 275 at the beginning of my guitar journey. And I had rejected that because I just didn't like the tone. And it's a far more expensive amplifier. And so, doing some research, I came across a possible contender to days gone by in my old Marshall 50-watt Plexi head. And that was Marshall's relatively new model launch, one of which being the Marshall SV20 Plexi Studio head. And I decided to make the purchase as there was a sale on. I hooked it up to the Bad Cat extension cabinet and I fell in love with the tonal possibilities. Surprisingly, you can get a good drive tone without excessive volume, but adding the Tone King Ironman 2 really pushes the amp to where you really get that cranked vintage Marshall Plexi sound. Of course, I hunted around and again got myself a good deal on the matching Marshall vintage cabinet that goes with it. I think at the end of the day, I actually prefer my Bad Cat extension cabinet. Again, more on this to come in upcoming videos. Now, because I would now be using the Marshall as well, one feature it does not have is reverb. And while I don't need a lot of reverb, it is nice to be able to dial some in where it is needed. It's now the end of July, and enter a simple but effective reverb pedal, the Electro Harmonix Holy Grail. Nice little pedal that is actually capable of various reverb effects, but I use it with just in a very kind of subtle way. Now, it's around about that time that I began collecting all the parts I would need to build Bluebird, my custom build Telecaster style guitar, and I did a 12-part series on that. And once the guitar was completed, I did decide to change out my original choice of pickups, the Texas Specials, for Fender Pure Vintage 64s. That guitar is a lovely instrument for playing rhythmic beds. Now, I had been getting a number of questions regarding entry-level electric guitars, something I, as a youngster in the early 70s, had a good deal of experience with. So I decided to see what was out there, and to be honest, for me, there were no real surprises. Manufacturing, along with a huge global economy, the choices available are too numerous to mention. I began with a Fender authorized Chinese-built debut Telecaster purchased on Amazon. That was a very popular video, so I decided to upgrade that guitar with various Fender custom shop parts, including custom shop Texas Special pickups. Can you get a decent electric guitar under £100? Well, this brand new Glary S-style guitar, it cost me £65. Gear for Music distribute a whole range of guitars at a whole range of prices, and this Knoxville T-style guitar is very nicely finished off for around £130. Now around this time, with all this string changing going on, I purchased the Ernie Ball Power Peg motorised winder, which certainly speeded things up. To date, I've had no issues, but I have heard of those who say that the motor can pack in on you if you use them a lot. Now, I think like most things, if you're going to be using any kind of tool a lot, then it's always better to spend a bit more. Ernie Ball do make a professional version of this model, but for me just now, it's working fine. Now, I was trying to get back into recording, fine-tuning how I would use various instruments, amplifiers and effects pedals, and I ran into 3 problems with my pedal board. First problem: my trusty MXR Carbon Delay Mini was not acting the same way as it did with my previous digital amplifiers. There was a significant volume drop as soon as I activated the pedal. Going through the effects loops on the amplifiers made no difference. Now, as the mini pedal has no volume or level control, the only way to balance the audio levels was to turn the amplifier up and turn other pedals down, or a combination thereof. So of course that's not really ideal, and so after some research I opted to purchase the Keeley Halo pedal. Not the cheapest way to go about getting delay, but what a beautiful sounding pedal, and it doesn't interfere with anything else in the signal chain at all. So the next pedal to have a problem, but in the opposite direction, the volume level boosted way too high, was my TC Electronics Spark Boost Mini. Again, due to its size, there's no ability to correct the levels. So if you saw my previous review at the end of 2024, I just bought the same type, but the larger version, which has various options to model your tone and, of course, those volume levels. And finally, I designed a photo book which illustrates all my gear and less important details, which is not only a fun thing to have, but good for insurance records. If you'd like something like this, do comment below or private message me and we'll see what we can do. Now, I'm hoping that videos to come will be more about recording. And in fact, I've actually got a couple of things coming to the studio that are going to make quite a difference to my recording world, so stay tuned for that. As for all of you who are working on your own music journey projects, it would be great to hear from you, and I do wish you well and all the best in that. Now, if you haven't already, and apparently about 90+% of those who watch the videos have not, please do think about subscribing. Hit the bell to get notifications, like and share, comment, give a thumbs up. YouTube algorithms, you know, they can be really unkind to channels, so every little bit helps. Thank you. Do check out my channel playlist, which covers my journey back to playing and recording guitar after a 40-year break, because there are lots of equipment reviews as I've sought out the gear that I'm using in recording. So whether you're a newcomer, an ongoing player, or like me, an old hand returning to guitar playing, I always take time to engage with folks who take time to comment. So until next time, the journey continues. Do take care.